So now let's go ahead and I'm going to show you guys the next trailer on this lineup. We've got a bunch of trailers that we've been showing. We already talked about Black Adam. We already talked about both of the new The Suicide Squad trailers for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. 2 trailers for that one. And so we've done those 3 trailers, and now we've got Marvel Studios Black Widow new trailer. Now, quick thoughts on this. We'll go through this together. We'll watch it. We can talk about it piece by piece. But my thoughts about this are more or less about what's going on behind the scenes, and I want to share those with you. I will save those for the end because I am still excited for the film, but I do have some concerns about how we are going to watch that film and some thoughts about the release of this film and what has been going on here. So let's go ahead and watch this trailer, and then we'll get into some discussion.
Everything about me.
Here, watch. There we go.
You don't know everything about me.
This is from Marvel Entertainment.
I looked at what it likes. Before I was an Avenger. Before I got this family. I made mistakes.
Civil War, Age of Ultron, Endgame.
What the world wants you to be.
That was the clip from The Winter Soldier, I think it was, when they showed the Red Room. That right there is Endgame. This July. Remember like a year ago when we saw that costume for the first time? We were like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And then a year went by and everyone forgot, and everyone's like, oh yeah, wasn't that to us now it's like that's an old costume because the first trailer for this came out like over a year ago.
Go back to where it all started.
That's supposed to be young Natasha, I'm pretty sure.
Where did you think I was all this time?
Yelena Belova.
My girls are the toughest girls in the world.
Wow.
I'm sorry. We had our orders and we played our rules.
It wasn't real.
It was real to me. To me, you were everything.
Bring her home.
I really like these shots of Taskmaster. They look really cool.
To me, you were everything.
Yelena Belova is over here fighting like a savage. They're both amazing, talented assassins and trained very highly by the Red Room from the KGB. So I'm not sure if this is going to be their first reunion back because they're just going at it, or if this is like after some time they've been arguing. I have no idea. I'm guessing this is probably like a first encounter after they found out they're both still alive or something. That is probably what's his name? Dreykov, yeah. Remember from the Avengers, Loki's in the cage that they made for the Hulk, and he's talking to Black Widow, and he goes, Dreykov's daughter. I think that's probably Dreykov. Look at that shot right there. It looks like a lady is taking off the helmet or the hood for the Taskmaster here. I still like the comic book version of Taskmaster, where it's literally just supposed to be a skull. This one, it's got kind of like ski goggles or something. I think this looks cool. I'm not knocking it, and I do like the orange line on the helmet. I really like the color combo for the blue and the orange and the silver. I think it's really cool. It's just so different from the comics that it's taking some adjusting for me, but I'm still really excited to see how they do Taskmaster, and the trailer footage looks good so far. Do you see how he's swinging right there? Taskmaster's swinging here like Spider-Man, and his abilities allow him to see something, see a skill, see an ability, and then copy it. He can do it. So he probably saw, if he wasn't already trained in this kind of grapple hook swinging or something like that, my guess is he watched Spider-Man do something during either Civil War or something, and now he's actually doing that. Maybe that's Dreykov again. I'll have to check the IMDb to see if that's the face of the actor I'm thinking of. But this that suit is starting to look pretty cool to me. I really like that suit. That's the shield again, like from having, you know, probably Captain America or somebody else.
Put your seatbelts on. Just jump room.
Here's the scene with the bow. I remember when someone had first dropped, they're like, ooh, like set photos, and it's like they showed him in the mask, and people were like, I don't know if that's him or if that's like somebody else. I even made a video. I was like, maybe that's Nighthawk. Like I wasn't even sure, like, because it looked so different from Taskmaster that it's like, is that Taskmaster? Like, why does he look like that? But yeah, so this is clearly Taskmaster now, and well, I say clearly, but confirmed it's Taskmaster, and he's shooting a bow, mimicking Hawkeye. Maybe at this point we've already seen Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye.
One thing's for sure.
That plane scene looks really cool.
From my past.
Man. And they got the Russian choir. They're singing the Avengers theme too. All right, now that right there is what I have beef with. So, and I don't care about the choice. Like, if you have the choice to do both, I'm cool with that. I'm glad that they're doing that, but it's the fact okay, here's my gripe. They put out a trailer over a year ago saying that the film was to come out last year. A year later, all of us are subscribed to Disney Plus. We're paying money for Disney Plus. And then look, it says Premiere Access, additional fee required, right? It's like additional fee on top of Disney Plus payment. So you're already paying for Disney Plus, and the members are not going to get this film just because they're already making payment. They have to pay additional fees to watch it. So let's remember what happened when we did this, those of us who did this, for Mulan. I ordered Mulan early for the Premiere Access, believing at the time, they didn't say it expressly, but I thought they were going to keep it on Disney Plus. What happened was I paid $30 to watch Mulan at home on top of paying for Disney Plus. Then what happened was, I think it was a month later, it was out on all other digital download platforms. And what was happening with that? For $30, the same amount that I paid to get access to it on Disney Plus, everyone else was able to buy it with special editions at a higher video quality, and they own the thing. They're able to get a digital download, not just have access to stream it from Disney Plus. What's the difference with that? You might be thinking, well, it's $30 here, $30 there, who cares? If you stop subscribing to Disney Plus, you can't watch it anymore. You didn't buy the film, you unlocked the access on the streaming platform. So if you stop having Disney Plus, you don't get to watch the movie anymore. But if you buy it on Amazon for the same amount of money, if you stop your Amazon account, you can still watch the film because you have a digital download copy. You own the film. It's yours. It's not tied to the account that you don't have to just keep having Amazon. Like, you can digitally download it and take it with you wherever you go. Not with Disney Plus. And you don't get the bonus features, and you don't get the ultra, like the upgraded like 4K video quality. You don't get, I think there was an audio quality that was available. What was it like? I can't remember what the name of it was, but it's the upgraded version of the film quality. You get all those things if you buy the film for the same amount of money. So when I got Mulan and then it immediately just came out on all these other platforms, oh, I could have spent my $30 anywhere else and had a better deal. I felt ripped off. I was like, what the heck? Like, Disney, like, what's your problem? Like, you shared your film with all these other platforms, and like you didn't even give the Disney Plus members a chance. Like, it's like if you wanted to on your own platform, you could say, we're gonna let our people buy this as a digital download. If you pay the $30, you get to keep a copy. That's yours to keep. But no, they didn't do that. In fact, people who were subscribed to Disney Plus got the shaft instead of everybody else everywhere else. For the same dollar, you got more anywhere else. But if you were a Disney Plus subscriber, you got screwed. So that's like, you got shorted by paying the same amount of money. Like, that's the Disney treatment, right? So to me, it's like, okay, I'm going to just watch it in theaters. Like, why am I going to try to encourage, if I buy it Premier Access, and I do want to see the film, I really think the film will be good. I think it'll be fun. I can't wait to see Taskmaster, even though it's a different costume. I'm still excited to see what they're going to do with it. Also, Thunderbolt Ross, if you guys didn't know, is one of the top members of the cast. So, like, if you go here, Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, Rachel Weisz, David Harbour, William Hurt. William Hurt is Thaddeus Ross. So even before Dreykov, who is played by Ray Winstone, Thaddeus Ross is actually the one who eventually, I believe, becomes the Red Hulk. So I don't know that we're going to see that in this film, but surely this is something that is going to be important if he's named in the credits above Dreykov, who is the KGB head of the Red Room. So I'm just thinking out loud here. It's going to be a good film. I think it'll be a good film. Based on the trailer, it looks really fun, action-packed. It probably won't win any Oscars or anything like that, but I bet you it'll be really entertaining and fun, and it'll be a Marvel typical film, which I'm hopeful for. Maybe along the same tone as The Winter Soldier. That'd be nice. Now, maybe with a little bit more humor, though. My problem is that I don't want to spend money on Disney Plus above my subscription anymore, because it's going to encourage them to just keep doing that, to just keep charging people for less. Instead, I'm going to spend my money on Amazon or anywhere else, because if I can rent it on Disney, basically it's like a long-term rent. You get to rent it with technically only the limitation of having a subscription and no bonus features. If you rent it on Disney Plus for $30, you could buy it anywhere else, own it forever, and have the bonus features and have an improved quality film. I'm thinking, I don't want to encourage Disney Plus to do that. In fact, if they wanted to go ahead and do what everyone else is doing and say, if you pay the $30, you get to keep a digital download of the film with bonus features, and you have the option to upgrade for the audio or the video or whatever, I would say, okay, that's awesome. Because then you can just buy it and it's the same as it would be anywhere else. But no, you're actually getting shorted if you do that. The only thing that's better is you get to watch it earlier, which I don't think is worth it, because they've already made us wait a year. Over a year. It's like, why are they doing this now? The theaters have been open for some time now. They've had the film done for a long time now. They could have released it and they chose to wait. And I think maybe the only reason why I think they would be waiting beyond just like hoping to get more and more theaters open to make more money on the box office, I think another part of it could be tying into what we might see in the rest of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. If that's the case, then maybe they're just trying to make the Thunderbolt Ross story make sense, because I believe Thunderbolt Ross is also supposed to be in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, because his name was in the end credit sequence. So who knows? Maybe. I don't have all the answers for you guys, but those are just my thoughts. And to me, I think it probably boils down to the Thunderbolt Ross or trying to get more theaters open. But I don't want to pay an additional fee to not own the film. If it's in theaters, that's an experience. You and the family get to get out, go somewhere. I'm totally down for that. That's fine. I know you don't get to own it, but I'm already paying Disney Plus. I'm already paying for that subscription. So I'm just going to either wait and buy it somewhere else, or I'll go to the theaters and have a fun time with some friends, right? It's like, that's my thoughts on that. Now, everyone can have their own opinion about it, but those were just the thoughts that were eating away at me when I saw this trailer. And then at the end it says, order it on Disney Plus Premier Access, additional fee required. That's shady as all heck. To me, reading that, all I see is, we made you wait a year so we can charge you an extra $30 so that you can have less than anyone else that is not our customer is going to pay. and call it Premiere. Like I feel shorted. I feel shorted by you, and I don't believe that you have your customers' best in mind, because people who are not your customers are actually getting a better deal than your customers. So to me, that's just not fun. Anyways, I have neither liked or disliked this. I mean, I like the trailer, but I'm just kind of upset by this. You know what? I'll just give it a like. I'll give it a like. There you go. Have your little cake and eat it too. All right. So, anyways, those are my thoughts. Now, I believe some of these comments Daniel's Hot Topics is shooting in. This is gonna take a little while. My goodness, brother, you've been on the typing, bro. You must be like Mavis Beacon's best friend or something, like, or the long lost son of Mavis Beacon. You say, hello, Daniel. Only 46 minutes late, I am. Yeah, I think it's probably more now because I've been streaming for so long. But it says, Daniel, Disney, MCU, and WBDCU watch each other's movies, universes to see how they can outdo each other, and I hope Disney MCU scoops up Pierce Brosnan to play MCU Magneto. That'd be pretty cool. I've got a long list of people that I would like to see play Magneto, including Viggo Mortensen, who played Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. He was also in Green Book. But you guys should check that one out. I've got a fan casting for Magneto, and I did not have him on that list because I didn't think of him at the time, but it would be a good casting. Would be pretty cool. Daniel's Hot Topic says, boo, Netflix buys Spider-Man streaming rights and more in massive Sony deal. This is bad because Netflix gave Sony a lot of money for the streaming rights, which means Sony won't go bankrupt and give Disney the rights to Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, and the rest of the 900 characters that Disney had no choice but to sell Sony in the 90s back to Disney. Wait a second. So you're telling me that Netflix bought, and guys, I don't know that this is 100% fact. I don't know. So I'll have to verify this. But Daniel's Hot Topics is telling me that Netflix buys Spider-Man streaming rights and more. Okay. I'll have to look into that before I make any comments about that, because I don't want to confuse the watchers if we can't verify that. But I appreciate you letting me know. That's big news if that's the case. Disney had no choice but to sell Sony back in the 90s to Disney. I remember that. Sony wants to go their own way and grow their own universe. They want to create their own universe, the Sonyverse they're calling it, and the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters, the Spunk. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's one of the most annoying names ever. But it says here, so they want to split from the MCU and create their own parallel universe, and WTF, the MCU sounds cool and the Spunk sounds horrible right off the bat and sounds like crap. Yeah, I agree. It sounds just lame. It just sounds lame. It's like they're trying to say spunk, but they can't. They're saying spunk. Really, it's really not rolling off the tongue. It says, I'm still looking for info online of the possibility of Hugh Jackman coming to the MCU. I don't know that he will. Anything's possible, but his technically through Deadpool 2 and Deadpool 2 like Christmas version, they've already kind of canonized his universe, the Fox universe, into Deadpool's universe, and Deadpool's coming to the MCU. So kind of by proxy, like they could shoehorn him in there just with Deadpool. That'd be fun. But he says, Daniel's Hot Topic says, I like where the Black Widow movie takes place in the timeline after Captain America Civil War and before Infinity War. I feel sorry for Black Widow. She got a piss poor version of the super soldier serum. How do you get from the perfect super soldier serum in the 40s to a weak sauce version in the 80s they gave Widow? Yeah, I don't even remember if she did get the super soldier serum. In fact, I don't think she did. The only one that I think you might be thinking of Black Cat. Black Cat definitely got a version of the super soldier serum that was commissioned by Wilson Fisk from the memory of her father, who witnessed it as a boy. He witnessed Steve Rogers getting the super soldier serum as a child when he was duped into working for the Nazis unwittingly, and then turned on them when he realized what was going on. But he had photographic memory. He remembered the serum and was able to recreate it for Felicia, but in a modified version. So I don't think Black Widow got the super soldier serum at all, if I'm remembering that story correctly. What I do remember is that Black Cat from Spider-Man did get the super soldier serum, and I would love if they would actually do that story instead of just do some workaround where it's like, oh, it's just another offshoot. If they would tie it back to her father was actually there, that would be really awesome. So anyway, that's what I remember. So then Daniel says, Daniel, they released a pic from Spider-Man No Way Home that they finished filming, and they released a pic of the Statue of Liberty with Captain America's shield. This could be a hint of parallel universes of Spider-Man traveling to other universes in the movie. Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen, especially because Sony was so adamant they wanted to get a Madam Web film off the ground. And they already confirmed that Spider-Man No Way Home is a direct sequel to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is a sequel to WandaVision. So it's parallel universes, like alternate realities, parallel universes, alternate realities, and then Spider-Verse is what's going to come out of that, and they might even launch him into the Sonyverse from there, which I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked at all. And then he says, my fear is that what if Alfred Molina, Doc Ock, and William Dafoe, Green Goblin, won't be in the MCU, but from one of these alternate universes? That would be sad. I want them in the MCU. You know, honestly, I would not be that upset if they weren't in the MCU. And here's why. The versions that are inside the MCU, I want them to be, I don't know how to say this without sounding like belittling. I want them to be of an age that is reasonable for the role that they're trying to play. So the person that plays Norman Osborn, I want them to be older so that they're well into their career, they're running their own business, they're very intelligent, very well studied, and many years, probably 20 years in the business, 30 years, 40 years. That being said, I don't want them to be 60. I want them to be closer to like 40, 50. So 40, 50, and like 20 years in the business, you could do that. From 20 to 40, you've got 20 years in the business. That would make sense for a Norman Osborn type character, 40 to 50 years old. But they've also got to be, I guess you say, spry enough to be able to do the action scenes, right? Are they going to be playing Green Goblin? Of course, there probably will be stunt people. There will be a bunch of stuff like that. But you also want them to have that presence. You want them, and there's plenty of actors that are up there that can do that. Certainly, Idris Elba, I think, is already in his 40s. If not, yeah, I think he's in his 40s, maybe mid 40s, and he's doing just fine. You know, the Suicide Squad is coming up, and I think that whoever plays Norman Osborn should be also prepared for a long-term role that will last inside the MCU, but an alternate version that has already had many years being the Green Goblin / Norman Osborn could have a version that has had those years, maybe not even as the Green Goblin, but maybe just as Norman Osborn. And then we get a different take. Maybe we get Norman Osborn for president. That would be a really interesting story to encounter. With us having that history with the character, maybe that character specifically hasn't had the same experiences that we have, but we know the potential of that character. And I don't know, it could be fun in a Sonyverse. I want him in the MCU just like you do, but I'm not going to be mad if they're able to do a good story with those characters in the Sonyverse. It's not going to bother me, but it would be really cool to see Tom Holland interact with those guys. So however they got to do it, to me, might be good. Because who knows? We might get to see Sony versions of Marvel characters in the Sony films. Maybe that was part of the deal they struck. We don't get to know all the nitty-gritty details of what happened with Sony. Maybe they came to an agreement where we can both use certain characters, just alternate versions. You know what I mean? So like they'll have a different cast for the Green Goblin in the MCU as opposed to the Willem Dafoe version in the Sonyverse, and vice versa, or stuff like that for Captain America or whoever else. And Daniel's Hot Topic says, Daniel, they are setting up the Thunderbolts in the MCU in the comics. The Thunderbolts are an anti-Avengers team made up of supervillains. I totally remember. They're kind of like, sort of like the Suicide Squad run by Thunderbolt Ross. And at some point, I think it was Baron Zemo and the Winter Soldier even. And who else was there? It was Bullseye too. Bullseye was part of that. I think Venom was part of it at one point. A lot of characters that were part of that team. I don't know all the different versions of that team, but I do remember Winter Soldier being part of that team. It'd be really cool to have. And Baron Zemo, I think, was part of that too. I predict at the end of the show, meaning the Falcon Winter Soldier, Zemo will escape and he will be approached by Thunderbolt Ross and recruited in the new Thunderbolts team being assembled. I think that's probably what's going to happen. And I hope that is what happens. That'd be so cool. He says, my dream team for the Thunderbolts are Baron Zemo, the Abomination. Yes. Bucky, the Winter Soldier, new Captain America, John Walker, Yelena Belova, and Red Hulk. Could you imagine having Bucky and John Walker on the same team? That's not going to go over well. They're going to butt heads a lot. Plus, having Thunderbolt Ross and the Abomination on the same team, my goodness, that's talking about an Avengers versus Thunderbolts film. That's probably going to be the next big thing. And I think that'd be awesome. I would love that. It says here, I hope they don't go the comic book route and have Red Hulk kill the Abomination. Wow. I saw that in Red Hulk issue 1. Red Hulk beat Abomination to an inch of his life, then shot him to death. Wow. That's pretty brutal. It says, oh, now I remember. Thank God. Daniel, remember Universal gave the rights back to the Hulk to Marvel Disney in 2020. What? This means the MCU has the rights to make Hulk movies and the right to the 2003. They have the rights to 2003 from Ang Lee Hulk universe. I don't know about that. I haven't heard anything about that. I'll have to look into that. So I'll make a note about that. Thank you for letting me know, and I'll follow up about that, okay? So then it says, so a company cannot populate their universe with characters they do not own the rights to. For example, Fox owns X-Men, but not Spider-Man. Spider-Man does not exist in the Fox X-Men universe. Or Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man, but they do not own the rights to anything else, so they cannot populate the universe with the X-Men or the Avengers or anything else. Right. You can't, if you own the rights to something, no one else can take your property. If they own the rights to, like, Spider-Man, you can't use Spider-Man unless they give you permission, right? And that's just how intellectual property goes. But I do think that if they have come to some sort of agreement where they can make certain films, they will, because it's going to be massively profitable. It's just about determining who gets what profit and what percentage of what profit, right? This was the disagreement between Disney and Sony. That was the whole fight they had, was Marvel or Disney wanted more of the money. And Sony was like, you already got the majority of the money. We just wanted the box office, or the majority of the box office. You were getting the toy sales. That's way more in money than just the stinking box office. But then they were getting greedy and they wanted more and more and more. And it's like, no, we're taking our toys and going home. So then they came back to the table and struck a deal. And so now we're going to find out what happens. So, and I think that's going to end with Tom Holland getting shot back into the Sonyverse, like violently torn through the multiverse. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Now, that's enough of that. We've talked for a very long time about this. Let's go on to the next topic at hand after Black Widow. And again, before we leave, it is expected that the film will come out July 9th, 2021, except for the trailer did not specify that it would be 2021, because who knows, they might have to delay it another year. All right, next up, we have, let's cut back here.